Welcome to the Rabbit Hole Fantasy Football Podcast. Thoughts, analysis, and information to help you succeed in your fantasy football leagues. I am your host, Chad Lyon, and I am here as always with Tyler Bevel.
Hey.
And our producer, Mitchell Bird.
Hello.
And today we're going to do some podcast league trade talk. In the world of Dynasty, the draft is far from the be-all, end-all. So we have a nice handful of trades to go over, and maybe some of these moves will hit home a little with some players you're looking to grab or move, and maybe shed some light on how some people may value certain players and how they pertain to their specific team. Tyler.
Yeah.
This should be a really fun one.
All right.
This should be, this episode makes itself because there's a lot of trades to go over.
I'm excited about this.
Yeah, we're going to try to get through them all. There's 19 of them. 19 trades since the draft. Boy, this is an active league.
Yeah.
I don't love all the trades.
No?
I do not. I love some of them.
I'm anxious to dissect some of them.
Your dad keeps yelling at people.
Yeah, he's... he does, yeah.
EJ is a menace. A total menace in the chat. Oh, man, it's fun. We love having him in the league. But...
he just wakes up and talks trash.
Top 3 list time.
All right.
We got a good one.
Okay.
This is a good one. Top 3 cereals.
Ooh, this is a good one.
It's a good one. I am a cereal fan.
Well, I'm Tyler Bevel, so it has to be Fruity Pebbles.
That's one. Fruity Pebbles is one.
Yeah, I didn't like in high school to admit that I really liked them a lot because that was a common nickname. As soon as I heard the last name, like the Fruity Pebbles thing was there.
Fruity Bebble.
Yeah, yep.
Cocoa Bebbles.
Yep. Because I'm an 8-year-old trapped in a 35-year-old's body, I'll say Lucky Charms.
All right.
And then because I'm sometimes an adult, Honey Bunches of Oats with almonds.
You know, there's a soggy factor here that bothers me.
Yeah, you got...
But, you know, part of the problem might be me being gluttonous and using, like, damn near mixing bowls for my cereal.
All right.
It's like Julie's, my wife, is always like, maybe don't put so much in there and just have 2 bowls of cereal and it won't get so soggy.
That's smart.
I'm like, yeah, but I just want this heaping.
Just let me eat my cereal, Julie.
That's not a bad list. I like Honey Bunches of Oats. I'm good with the Lucky Charms, but you know what my problem is?
I like to collect all the marshmallows at the end.
Yeah, see, I'm not patient enough to do that. And I get to the end and it's just like a bunch of little pieces of cardboard.
Right.
It's no fun. I just dump it at that point.
Chelsea will get Lucky Charms, and like 2 days later, the kids will be there. They'll be like, "Hey, where's all the Lucky Charms?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I had 2 bowls of cereal, and the whole box is gone.
Yeah. I get the family side.
Okay, 4 boxes.
Right for me,
4
but
bowls. How about you, Mitchell?
Oh, this is definitely a good one. I like it. I got myself Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Got to be number 1.
Mm-hmm. No arguments at all.
Yeah, it's every time I can smash big old bowl, like you said, mixer bowl. I'm gonna say the Frosted Rice Krispies only because my favorite Frosted is discontinued.
Oh.
So they had a Rice Chex mini Frosted. Mini Rice Chex.
Had them. They're great.
2002, they think they came out. Somewhere around 2007, they
He's
stopped.
got a peg right
I'm telling you,
loved it.
I've wanted to
You
petition.
did love the mini frosted checks.
Since 2007, I've been wanting them back. I'm telling
like
you.
buy them off of eBay, like unopened boxes.
They only sell the empty ones on eBay, I checked.
Oh, man.
Well, that's terrible. Why would they do that?
And then number 3, because I am actually getting older, Honey Nut Cheerios. I like to put a little like strawberry or something in there.
I have an old man cereal. I didn't put it on my list. It didn't make the cut, but like I love Raisin Bran Crunch. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I like shredded weeds. Like they're good.
Yeah.
Frosted.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not bad. You know what though? They don't make the giant ones anymore.
No.
It's like you would put like 4 logs in a cereal bowl.
Just gotta like break them up.
Yeah. They were the good ones.
That was just fun to break them apart. I remember that as a kid, just smashing them up.
Yeah, for sure. My one is same as you, Mitchell. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Like you cannot deny that stuff. It is top notch. Another one that's actually hard to find, but it's out there. I think Walmart has it from time to time. Is Waffle Crisp. Stuff's awesome. And my third one is I had struggled with this. I had Cookie Crisp in there, and then I'm like, wait, there's another cookie cereal that I like way more. And it's Oreo O's.
Oh,
Yep. And I'm with you.
no Cookie Crisp.
I didn't go Cookie Crisp.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
I went Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Waffle Crisp, and Oreo O's. I already had one crisp in there.
Right.
I respect it.
And I'm like you. I don't love the chocolate cereals necessarily,
No.
But Oreo,
Exceptions can be made.
yeah, that's a win. And I do like what's the one? What was your third one?
Honey Bunches of Oats.
Yeah,
with almonds.
Honey Bunches of Oats is good stuff, but there's that
There's so
soggy
many
factor.
good cereals.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones.
Like-
Honey Smacks is another one I love.
Honeycombs.
Honeycomb's good.
They're good.
Yep. They're so much smaller now, though. Why are they
Yeah.
doing this?
Well, I remember the guy like me want honeycomb.
I remember the Waffle Crisp just had that cracked out little ball of fur that would just sprint. You remember that?
Yeah.
Run all over the place like a nut. Yeah.
Golden Grams are good.
Golden Grams are good. Like
Cinnamon Life is
Cinnamon Life is
good
good.
one. There's so
A lot
many
of
good cereals.
Yeah, there is. All right. So let's go on. Let's get into some of these trades here. That's enough cereal talk.
We could go on.
We could go and go and go. So we are going to start with the earliest trades and work our way to the most recent. So we're clear back on July 15th was the first trade. I think it was like a day or two after.
Shocker, John.
Yeah, John's involved. Old John. Puka in the rear. That's John's team. And Nick's team, Swift Hand of the Law. John acquired Terry McLaurin in a 2027 fourth. Nick acquired Michael Wilson in a 2025 fourth. How do we feel about that one? Who wins that in your opinion?
I think it's close. I guess I want the Michael Wilson side. You gain 2 years on your fourth round. I mean, these are two wide receivers basically that are pretty close, and you're swapping fourth round picks. I guess, I don't know. I could flip flop on this because I'd like to see Terry McLaurin in that offense with Jaden Daniels a little bit, but
That puts McLaurin for John's fourth wide receiver. He's got Jefferson, Puka, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin.
solid.
It's a good setup.
Hell yeah.
You know my feelings on DK Metcalf, but
Chad, don't.
I suppose if he's your
Chad,
third,
don't.
he's his third receiver in a 14-man dynasty.
You
league.
take
Like,
that all
that's-
day.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue much there. Like eventually, someone has to draft DK Metcalf. He has to be on a team. And if you're going to tell me that he's your third or your fourth with Jefferson, Nakua, and McLaurin in the mix, I'm not
Pretty
gonna
close
argue.
trade, though, right? I mean, this is.
I think so.
What side you taking?
Looking at John's team, I like John's side of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to kill Nick here, but I'm not sure what his motive is. And we'll get into that as Nick's made a lot of trades. So has John.
Yeah, younger wide receiver, and he moved up. He's got a fourth round for next year.
Yeah, Wilson doesn't make his starting squad here with Amon-Ra, Pickens, Keon Coleman, and Leggett. That's who he's got in there. So maybe he will.
That's a good group, too.
Yeah.
Good youth in there.
Yep, for sure. All right, let's move on to the next trade here. Let's go. My brother Casey and red-tailed hawks. That would be bird person Mitchell, our producer. There he be. Mitchell acquires Tyler Algier in a 2025 third round pick, and Casey, who just has named his team Casey Lion, acquires Romeo Dobbs.
Super clever case.
Yeah, real clever, real sharp there, Case. Well, listen, this is one I like for both sides. Mitchell has Bijan. He missed Algier in the draft, so he shirted up and got Algier. Dobbs to him was disposable, and he also was to get a third round pick. You know, he's able to get that in the mix. I get it for both guys. Probably for Casey, Algier was a nothing, so to him, he just gave a third for Dobbs. Is that how you would look at that?
Yeah.
So this to me is just even. Nobody really wins. I mean, they both win.
No, you screwed this up bad, Mitchell.
I knew it.
No, this is fine. I don't really have a whole lot to say here. Mitchell shirt up his running back room.
Yeah, I like it that Mitchell shirt up his running back room just as a trade itself.
Sure. And was able to snag a third in the
Got a
mix.
third out of it. Yeah. I don't mind this trade.
And Algier probably didn't mean much to Casey.
Looking at Mitchell's team, I like Mitchell's side of it, but like Casey gets Dobbs for, like you said, he
Essentially,
ain't
a
giving
third.
up much to get him. So yeah, I like this both ways.
Yeah, and Mitchell's team, if I can pull this up here real quick. Of course, he's probably all the way at the bottom. No, he's at the top.
right.
Yeah, losing Dobbs. I mean, he's got Adams. He's got Devonta Smith. He's got T. Higgins. He's got A.D. Mitchell. Remember, this is a 14-man league. It's not 10 or 12, so it's depth is tough to get. Mike Williams down there on the bench, Cortland Sutton, Jalen Hyatt. I don't think he really lost anything to shore up that room.
No.
So, yeah, no big deal.
Especially because, it's Dontavian Wicks and Jaden Reed.
Oh, man, if you've been listening to the podcast, then you know that was a serious dig on me. Whatever, Ty. Hey, let's move on to the next one. Let's go with it. Look at that. It's Nick again, Swifty
This
into the
guy,
law.
he's a rascal.
This guy again. And Mr. I want all your picks, shake and bake, Corey. So this is between Corey and Nick. Corey receives Trey Benson, Troy Franklin, and a 2025 fourth. Nick receives Keon Coleman. I'm taking Corey's side.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick really wanted Keon Coleman bad. Clearly very bad. I don't know. That just seems like an awful lot of capital to give up. Like, if he give, Franklin in a fourth or Benson in a fourth, I'd have been okay with that. For somebody who really wants a certain guy. Sometimes you got to go get your guy. But to me, Benson, Franklin, and the fourth, I just think that's an overpay.
I don't know about for the future. I think for this season, the trade will be close. Troy Franklin, I'm not super high on.
Yeah, I'm not sure there, but there's a comfortability factor with Knicks that I really like.
Yeah, I do like that. Trey Benson, I like. But I'm taking Corey's side.
Yes.
Get the youth. Gets
Now,
a fourth round also.
with all that said, have we looked at Nick's team? We did. It's the Coleman and Leggett, so we did bring that up.
And Nick is trading the fourth round that he got from Jay Lamonsky in this pick.
Right. So Corey here is going for nothing but youth and picks. He's been so aggressive and somehow people have been overpaying to him like crazy for their guys because they're not afraid to lose the picks, I guess. Maybe they think they can. You're not going to retain all of them, but some of them you can, if things don't quite go your way, you can retain some picks. That's fine. But let's run down Corey's team here real quick. CJ Stroud, Chase Brown, Javonte Williams, Roma Dunes, Troy Franklin, Hunter Henry, Trey Benson, Zach Charbonnet, Baker Mayfield, Buffalo defense. His bench is literally loaded with just a bunch of later rookies. He's got Jalen Wright down there, Jaheim Bell, Jared Wiley, Estime, Whittington, Javon Baker, Jameis Winston, Bo Melton. So he's definitely Brendan Rice is down there. There's not a lot of depth here to speak of that we know of yet. Sam Hartman and Cowing on the taxi. But let me get to the picks. You ready for this?
Yeah.
In 2025, Corey has 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, 2 fourths. 2026, and we're going to get to his trade, so you'll see how he acquired all these. 2026, he's got 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a third, and a fourth. And in 2027, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 fourths. Loaded with picks.
Yeah, but at a certain point,
Yes, I know what you're going to say.
you only have so many roster spots.
I agree. There's going to have to be, and there's going to be guys here that get cut, like Tipton. I don't know. I'm not real sure.
You come into a
Jaheim
rookie
Bell,
draft,
but eventually
6 spots
yeah.
a year. The first year he's got 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Whew.
Yep. Now you could trade them off during the draft.
Sure, and
move
he's
back
got
to next
capital
year.
there.
And there's lots of capital to bump around, and maybe he's going to use some of this capital to get younger players that he likes along the way.
I've said before, this is a team that I want to watch the most. I want to see how this unfolds.
Yeah, we're going to find out how good of a builder of a team builder Corey is. I'm pretty intrigued to see that go down. Okay. So you're saying you're taking Corey's side?
Yeah.
Me too. All right, moving on. We're back to Puka in the rear. John and Big Sexy. That would be BJ Bevel. John receives Rondale Moore, and a 2025 third. BJ receives Gabe Davis.
When this trade happened, give me John's side. Unfortunately, Rondale Moore is done for the year.
Yep.
But when this trade was made, give me John's side.
That's why you got to be careful right now.
You do.
It's really early, man.
Let it develop a little bit.
A little bit. Like you'll see I have a trade or two in here, but they're not real big time, kind of smaller things. And
Like a lot of my players, it's like, give me 3 weeks. Let me see 3 weeks of football.
Yeah.
And then see what's going on here.
Yep. For the vast majority of them, yes,
Yep.
I totally agree. I'm going to take BJ's side on this one.
Are you really?
Now I am.
Yeah, but I mean,
Because
like when the trade happened.
Well, when the trade happened, I'll take John's side, but in the end, BJ won.
Sure.
So
Got a garbage receiver for a player on IR.
pretty much. And a third. He did give up a third.
Yeah.
But, he's got another trade we'll hop into here after a little bit. We'll get on his team. We've already kind of went down John's team. I don't want to be a broken record. I'm going to be a broken record saying John and Nick enough as it is through this podcast.
Yeah.
So speaking of Nick, moving on to the next trade here. Swift hand of the law, Nick, to me. I am your host, Chad. I receive Demario Douglas in a 2026 fourth, and Nick receives from me Donovan Peoples-Jones in a 2025 third. So I gave up a this year's third and Peoples-Jones for a next year's fourth and Demario Douglas. I just, at the end of the day, I don't mind moving a third. I get a fourth back for, a year later. But when we're comparing Douglas and Peoples-Jones with the way things are in New England, give me Douglas.
Yeah, for sure. I'll take your side on this trade.
You got to take my side.
I don't have to.
No, I think Demario Douglas actually has some real opportunity. Like, I mean, he's not going to be a receiver two or anything, but I like him. He's a good depth piece. If I'm looking at this, like, who would I rather have as a depth piece? I'd take Demario Douglas.
Yeah.
Over Peoples-Jones. Peoples-Jones, he's fine. Laporta, ARSB, Jamison Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. Like, they're just, I don't know. I'm going to put my money on Douglas having a better finish than Peoples-Jones.
Me too.
It's a small trade, but that's like what I just said. Like, I don't go too big.
Look at the next trade, Chad.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right.
I know. Yeah.
Chad's a liar.
My one big one. All right, yeah. Let's move on. We'll look at my team after this next one here. Once again, me. I'm your host. I traded with Brian. Elmer Fudd is his team name.
I'm hunting what?
The Rabbit Killer.
The Rabbit Killer.
That's great. It's
Love
slick. I gave to Brian Evan Ingram in a 2026 first round pick. So it's a future first. And I got Trey McBride in a 2026 fourth. Remember, I said before, every time I do a trade, this trade started out Ingram in a first for McBride. And I'm like, throw a fourth in there? What you throwing? He's like, you're killing me, man. I was like, I'm not. I'm giving you Ingram in a first. You can throw in a fourth. It's a fourth.
That's why we never trade, Chad, because you always try to throw them things in at the end. And I'm like, no. We'll talk about a trade for 3 days, and then it just never happens.
We just did one.
Yeah, we did. A little one.
Different league.
Little
But
guy, yeah.
Was it Madison for a fourth?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Chad coming at me with a third. I'm like, get out of here.
I
dude.
tried. Yeah, it was a future third, like 2 years down the road.
Future fourth, too. No, I gave you this year's fourth.
I said this year's fourth or a future third.
I had to get that fourth out of there. I got a lot of picks this year.
Yeah. Okay, so McBride in a fourth, 26 fourth to me for Ingram and a 26 first to Brian. What do you think of this one?
No,
You gonna roast me?
Janone all the way.
Janone all the way?
No, I like this trade for both sides. I do. I want McBride as far as the players over Ingram, but I like that Janone got a first out of you. The fourth in there, good on you to get that back. Good trade.
Well, we can hop over to mine. I do have some thought behind it, believe it or not. So my roster, Caleb Williams, Joe Mixon, DeAndre Swift. We'll talk about that in a little bit because he wasn't always there. Nico Collins, Keenan Allen, Trey McBride, Malik Neighbors, Xavier Worthy, Dak Prescott, Kansas City defense. Happy with my bench. McLaughlin, Elliott, Gibson, Khalil Herbert, Keaton Mitchell, Tyler Boyd, Khalil Shakir, Demario Douglas, Zach Ertz, Goddard, Conklin. Why I felt okay moving Ingram, first of all.
Yeah.
And to me, that first round pick that I gave, I'm probably not getting Trey McBride talent. There's good chance I'm not gonna. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Like maybe I fall flat on my face, and we'll see where that pick falls. But right now, like I'm very happy to have given a 20. I still have my 25 first.
Yep.
So I have my first for this year. It's okay. No big deal. If things fall through the absolute floor, I got enough talent here. If I feel like I need to recoup that pick, I could. Looking here at who I'd have to give probably for it, I don't think I want to, but no. I could if I needed to. So I'm okay with it. I have no qualms making that move. Honestly, it was a trigger happy move for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even hesitate. I was like, yeah, give me McBride.
Nice.
Okay, that's that trade. Brian Janone and me. Let's move on to Tyler's got a trade here. So Tyler's team is lamb and tuna fish.
Lamb and tuna fish.
A Big Daddy reference.
Maybe you like spaghetti and meatball? Be more comfortable with that analogy?
And surprise, surprise, he traded with John. Puka in the rear. Tyler acquired Russell Wilson, and John acquired a 2025 second round pick from Tyler. So Russell Wilson for a 25 second. Ty, what made you want Russell Wilson?
I just got a whole smorgasbord of garbage QBs. I thought, what's one more, you know?
Do you
I think Russell Wilson starts. If he comes out hot, you know, maybe his value goes up a little bit. Gave up a second for him.
Are you still okay giving the second?
Yeah, I would have rather given up a later second. John kind of held firm with it with the 25 seconds, so I said, yeah.
Did you try a third?
I don't know if I did. I think I just looked at the team and was like, yeah, I'll take Wilson and maybe I can get a return on him. Maybe I don't.
If it helps you and you get a return, maybe a player you like.
Yeah, I
like it even more. I definitely would have I would have pushed really hard for a third, but if that's what you needed right now to give you a boost and then potentially someone you can flip to a team who's looking good.
Yeah, I don't know if it gives me a boost, but there's a lot of uncertainty. My quarterback's at least starting the season, so
try to shore it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hop over to your team here. You got your team pulled up?
No.
Why don't you pull it up?
All right.
And you go ahead and run through it.
I have Kyler Murray, Najee Harris, Austin Eckler, CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, Dalton Kincaid, DJ Moore, Amari Cooper, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Pittsburgh defense, Aiden O'Connell, Bo Nix, Russell Wilson, Drew Lock, Gardner Minshew. So there's the arsenal of QBs there. Finish it out with Tyrone Tracy, Evan Hall, Jahan Dotson, Raheed Shaheed, Hayden Hurst, and Juwan Johnson.
I like Shaheed down there.
Yeah.
He's just hiding down there.
Yeah. I don't like this team. The more I look at it, I'm not really happy with this draft. So I could see me moving some players early here in the year. See how it goes, though.
Well, it's a good thing it's Dynasty and not 15 weeks do or die.
Yeah, for sure.
That wasn't a stab at you at all, BJ. Not at all.
He told me today, he's like, when I win this league this year, I'm coming on the podcast.
Oh, man.
I was like, well, if you ever win this league, we can maybe make that happen.
Mitchell's going to have to use the bleep button so many times.
It'll just be like one long...
An hour of bleeping.
Yeah, and just telling us how trash we are.
He'll talk smack to the listeners. You won't even have ever known them or met any of them. He's just a menace.
He's like, your ratings will go through the roof. I'm like, I don't think that's...
Well, anyone listening who doesn't know him is probably intrigued now.
Don't be.
No, bring this guy on.
No, don't.
Who is this guy? All right. No, Ty, I'm okay with it, man. If you needed some QB support, you give a second. You can recoup a second if you need to recoup a second.
Yeah,
it's not the end.
You don't know what Bo Nix is going to do. The Raiders situation there with Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, that's not a sure thing. Even I have both of the starters. Chances are I'll have the starter, but that's not a great quarterback room or anything. So Russell Wilson, just throw it in there. Veteran guy. Yeah.
I like Bo Nix, man.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
I feel like I've said that a million times, like that exact phrase verbatim. Like, I like Bo Nix, man. Yeah. I feel like I've said that so many times.
I feel good about Bo Nix, but you never know.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, it looks good, man. He's looking comfortable. That's what I want to see. All right, let's move on here. Let's see. We got Bush League. That would be Carrie, and once again, shocker, it's Nick with swift hand of the law.
Carrie's got an Apple Bush can on his logo.
He does. Nick acquires from Carrie, Jake Ferguson, and we touched on this in a Pretty recent episode. Nick acquires from Carey Jake Ferguson, a 2026 third, a 2027 second, and gives Carey Kyle Pitts. You know, I get it. Kinda. Like, I feel like you paid too much for the name Pitts. And the hype that surrounds him. And I like Pitts this year, man. I do. I like Pitts. But I really like Ferguson.
Yeah.
And the age is pretty much the same. I think Pitts is a year younger. But like the third and the second, I don't know. If you're telling me that you gave Jake Ferguson and a third for Pitts, maybe I feel better. But maybe the second is what's throwing me off and making me go, man, that's an overpay.
I think it's an overpay because of how good I think Jake Ferguson is going to be.
Give me Ferguson in the picks. Like, I want Ferguson and to hold those picks.
And props to Carey for going out and getting his guy.
Carey's aggressive.
He is. And I love that mentality. You got a guy you think is going to be him, go get him. But I think at the end of the year, when the rankings are done, points are done for fantasy football, I think these two are really close. So Nick getting that third and second round, I got to go with Nick's side on this trade.
Me too. Let's go over Carey's team quick here before we go on to the next trade and see if it helped or whatever we think. Lamar Jackson, Saquon Barkley. This is starting lineup, essentially. Projected starting lineup. Lamar Jackson, Saquon Barkley, Devin Achane. I think it's Achane. Chris Godwin, Jameson Williams, Mark Andrews, Josh Jacobs, Kyle Pitts, Jaden Daniels. Bench not too shabby. It's not amazing. Jarrett Stidham, A.J. Dillon, Chuba Hubbard, Jerome Ford, Kendre Miller, Jalen Polk, Greg Dortch, Jalen Tolbert, Josh Downs, Colby Parkinson, K. Dotton. His picks aren't terrible, though, because there's been some trades with Carey where he's acquired picks. Like in the 2025 draft, he will have a first, 2 seconds, a third, and a fourth. Oh, wait, what was the year of the picks he gave? A 26 third and a 27 second.
So he's pushing it out a little.
Yeah. And he's got plenty of picks right now. In 26, he's got a first, a second, and a fourth. In 27, he's got a first, a third, and a fourth. So he's acquired picks, moved picks, and acquired players, essentially, is what he did.
Yeah, and I have no problem with what Carey did, being aggressive and going getting your guy. My problem is that I think Jake Ferguson is very close in the rankings to Kyle Pitts at the end of the year.
I would agree with that, which in turn puts me on Nick's side of this. So, yeah, Nick got what we essentially consider a very comparable tight end. And just got some picks to go with it, a second and a third. Future picks, but picks nonetheless. Okay. Can't believe we're going to say his name again. Next trade we have is TKO. That would be not Tyler. That's Lee. Lee traded with, big shocker, Nick. Swift hand of the law. And another trade.
Michael Wilson on the move again.
Again. So he not only did he acquire Michael Wilson, he used him to get the guy he's been begging people for since the draft because he missed out on him. And that would be Xavier Legette. To get Legette, he gave Michael Wilson in a 2025 third, my third that he got from me. What do you think of this one?
I kind of still like the Michael. Maybe I'm too high on Michael Wilson. I'm not sure. I kind of like the Michael Wilson side of this. Gets a third back. This is really close. I just don't know about Bryce Young in Carolina. We've talked about that a lot. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. How many targets is Legette going to get? If I have to pick a side, I'm going to take Lee's side for this trade.
I have not been real big on Legette. Yeah, I'm going to take Lee's side with Michael Wilson in a third. I'll take that.
I think Legette has the more upside.
Let's yeah, he probably does. Let's hop over to Lee's team. Let me see here. All right. So Lee, projected starting lineup: Pat Mahomes, James Conner, Ramondre Stevenson, Garrett Wilson, Deebo Samuel, TJ Hawkinson, Michael Pittman, Raheem Mostert, Drake May. On the bench, we've got Justin Fields, Hendon Hooker, Braylon Allen, who I think is sneaky, Jonathan Mingo, Michael Wilson, DeAndre Hopkins, Adam Thielen, DJ Chark, Jerry Jeudy, Greg Dulcich, Daniel Bellinger. And his picks are pretty much fine. He's pretty well got all of his picks and a couple thirds here and there for all 3 years out. I kind of like this team. I don't love it. Do like that he has Garrett Wilson, Mahomes, and May. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that. I would have liked to have seen someone like him. I'd like to see him get his hands on Trey Benson. I just know it's not going to happen.
I tried to get Trey Benson from Corey.
It's not going to happen. It's not. He might as well just give Corey James Conner at this point and 3 picks for somebody. I don't hate to move forward. So in this exact boat here that we're looking at with Lee's team, would you prefer Wilson or Leggett on this team? It's still Wilson for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Not a wild trade. That's a fairly modest trade, I'd say. It's nothing insane. We got a couple insane ones coming up here, though.
The heavy hitters.
Yeah.
John and... Oh, this is Corey this time.
Yep, let's move on to John and Corey. Puka in the rear and shake and bake.
We talked about this trade before
We did. John acquires David Njoku. Corey acquires from John Hunter Henry, a 25 second, a 25 third, and a 27 fourth. Yeah, I like Corey's side for the picks. Don't really care about Hunter Henry, but I like his side for the picks. Our most recent podcast makes it pretty clear how we feel about Njoku, both of us.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Corey's side on this one.
Yep.
And we've combed over both teams already. So, boy, I do not value Njoku that high. I'd give like a third for Njoku, and Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
But I don't love it. And I don't think Corey loves Henry either. He just wanted them picks.
Yep.
Kudos to him getting more picks. All right, let's move on to the next trade here. We have somebody we haven't talked about yet and somebody we keep talking about. We've got Jordan with his team Tong Po. That is a kickboxer reference, I'm quite sure. Van Damme. And John again. So Jordan acquires from John Gus Edwards. This is going to be funny because we're going to talk about this later again. He acquires Gus Edwards and John acquires Brian Robinson in a 2025 third. Yeah, I'll take John's side.
For sure.
Yeah, I'll take John's side on that. But we're gonna move on because there's gonna be another trade that involves these two and Gus Edwards later on, and then we'll go take a look at Jordan. Okay.
For that, I definitely like John's side.
I do like John's side too.
Brian Robinson over Gus, and he got a third. I think that's a good trade for John.
Don't worry, Jordan. Your time's coming here, so just give us a minute. All right, next trade. Good Lord. John again. And here we have the Hamburglers, which is Bobby. Bobby receives from John Tank Bigsby, a 25 third and a 26 third. John acquires Marvin Mims and a 27 fourth. This is a tough one for me. Ty, what do you think?
I like John's side.
Yeah, I don't care about Bigsby. I was looking more at the Bigsby side for those 2/3.
I still like the Marvin Mims.
Okay.
I'm looking here. I don't really get the Tank Bigsby thing.
Me neither. He must have been after picks here.
Yeah, he doesn't have ETN. I'm just pulling up his team now.
That's good for him.
He's got a good team, though.
What do you got?
Josh Allen, Tajay Spears. Love it. Marshawn Lloyd.
Hey.
Drake London, Chris Olave, Luke Musgrave, Tank Dell, and Christian Kirk with Deshaun Watson rounding out the starters. Sorry, buddy, J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett, Gray, Roshan Johnson, Tank Bigsby, Malachi Corley, Brian Thomas, Brandon Cooks, Tutu Atwell, Dontavian Wicks, Jonnu Smith, and Michael Mayer.
Not a bad team.
No.
I think it's going to be hard to win having Marshawn Lloyd as your RB2.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Maybe not. I think
it's going to be tough sledding early on.
Sure.
And I don't think Tank Bigsby is going to fix that.
You know how we could feel though. You know how I feel with the Marshawn Lloyd thing though. So I think that could really pay off eventually. Okay, yeah, I'll take Bobby's side on that.
I like John's side.
I'm going to take Bobby's side for the picks because I'm not in love with Marvin Mims.
I like the upside there.
Yeah, caught a touchdown from Bo Nix.
Yeah,
he sure did. Okay. Yeah, I'm still gonna take Bobby's side. I like the picks. I maybe I should like John's side more, but time's gonna tell. So let's move on to a banger here. We got my brother Casey making a trade with Corey with Shake and Bake. Casey receives Jahmyr Gibbs. Corey receives Chase Brown, a 25 first, a 26 first, a 26 second. Corey and them picks, man, I'm telling you. What side? So let me pull up Casey's team. I don't know if I can justify all that, though. That's a lot, man. For a running back, too, that's just, it's a lot for me, but Casey feels like he can win right now. So let's go over his team real quick. Projected starters: Jordan Love, Jahmyr Gibbs, Aaron Jones, Tyreek Hill, Marvin Harrison, Brock Bowers, Cooper Kupp, Zamir White, Matt Stafford. Depth on the bench: Kamani Vidal, Alexander Madison, Ty Chandler. I like that to go with Jones quite a bit, actually. Malik Washington, Tez Walker, Jermaine Burton, who I love, Ryan Flournoy, Demarcus Robinson, Romeo Dobbs, and that trade he made with Mitchell, Trey Palmer, and Jordan Addison. And his picks are thin. In 25, he's got a 2 and a 4. In 26, he's got a 3 and a 4. And in 27, he's got all 4 picks.
Casey's going in.
He's going all in.
Yep.
Is this a win now team to you?
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Absolutely. I think
Gibbs
that's a
and Hill,
fantastic roster,
It
honestly.
really is. And he was so worried after the draft. And I'm like, I don't know, man. That's not a bad team. And now he's added Jahmyr Gibbs to the mix.
I think Casey paid a lot for Gibbs.
He did.
But boy, does it make the team look better.
It does. It really does.
And here's my argument on Casey's side of this. If I have to pick a side, I'm taking Corey's side. If Casey makes a run and wins a championship this year, it's all worth it.
Completely worth it. It's a 14-man league.
And it's a legitimate thing. Like, that is a team. Casey now has one of the better teams in the league.
I agree. He had to pay for it through the nose.
But, he's going after a guy, too. He's, he paid a lot, but, man, Gibbs.
He's going to have him for a while, too.
Yeah, young guy. The Chase Brown.
I wish he could have done it without losing Chase Brown.
Yeah, man, if you give the picks and somehow keep Chase Brown, I'll take Casey's side on this.
I would take Casey's side, too. I think I would, too. You know what? I'm going to take Casey's side, though.
I'm going to take Corey's side.
Because he had the nuts to just be like, you know what? I'm going all in. I'm going to give up some picks. I love Jahmyr, and he does. Casey loves Jahmyr Gibbs.
And no, I get Casey's strategy, and I think pulling the trigger here is the right move. But if I just have to look at the trade and say, who do I think won or lost that trade? And I know we're looking at their teams too, but just on the trade alone, him getting 2 firsts, a second, and Chase Brown, I have to go with Corey on the trade.
My pick is mainly respect for the balls to go do it.
Love it.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. But I totally get your side too, Tyler. All right, let's move on to. I was gonna skip that, but I'm not gonna skip this one. Let's go ahead and do this one. We just talked about him a lot. Nick and John. Jeez. John acquired Jared Goff. Nick has acquired Tony Pollard, a 25 second and a 27 fourth. I like John's side. I don't care about Pollard.
Yeah, we've been pretty high on the Tyjae Spears train. There is some value there. He's got a second round pick and a fourth in 2027.
So you can throw the fourth out the window. Pollard in a second for Goff. On a team who's going for it with Jefferson and Puka.
Yeah, I think Pollard's going to be a disappointment there. Just from a trade standpoint, yeah.
I'm giving it to John for kind of the same reason I'm giving it to Casey, except this wasn't as ballsy, nearly at all. But listen, he gave up what's probably a starting running back, a 25 second, and then only had to hand off a fourth. Like, he went and got the quarterback that he thinks he needed to push him over the top.
He got a starting quarterback for good value in a dynasty league, for sure. I'll go with John, too.
Yeah, I'll take John's side. Sorry, Nick.
Nick's taking it tough.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm done listening to these douchebags.
Here we go again with Nick. On to the next trade with Nick and myself. I acquired DeAndre Swift, and Nick acquires my 2025 second. I don't feel like I gave up a ton. I wanted to shore up my running backs. I know we already did my team, but let me just plead my case just for the running backs here before Ty roasts me.
Let's just look at my team again. Everybody, look at my team. Did I tell you guys my team yet? Here's my team. No, I'm just
Do you
kidding.
guys want to hear my team name? Ty, what's the best team name you've ever had? Put you on the spot.
I like Team Ramrod that I have in one of Chad's league that's been going for forever now. I really liked it when I had Josh Allen and Keenan Allen, and I did Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Allens.
It's a great movie.
Yeah,
Lock,
love
Stock,
it.
and Two Smoking Barrels.
Love it.
Wasn't that like a prequel to Snatch? Essentially, is kind of
No, it's they're
that's what it's been explained as for some reason.
I mean, it's both Guy Ritchie movies,
Right.
Yeah, but
Right.
both great.
You know, I do have a team name I'd love to say, but I'm not going to say it on air because I feel like I'll get roasted for it. It's not very nice. So I do have one in your home league, in your redraft league. I enjoy it. Kevin Costner's Wolves.
Yeah, that's a good
Picture of Kevin Costner standing in the prairie, shirtless. Yeah, it's an epic team name. Kevin Costner's Wolves. That's a good team. Yeah, so back to Swift. Sorry, we got sidetracked there.
Back to looking at my team. Let's focus on what really matters here.
Do you think I gave too much for Swift? A second? A 25 second?
I think Nick did a great job here.
Really?
No.
No, you're being sarcastic.
Yeah. I don't know. I will say I think this is pretty even, I think. Just because I'm not convinced that Chicago running back room isn't crowded.
So my RB2 is Zeke. I didn't give him up. He's on my bench now.
Yep.
My RB1 and 2 is Mixon and Swift. It was Mixon and Zeke, and then I looked on the bench, and it's like, oh, McLaughlin, Gibson, Herbert, Keaton, Mitchell. And I'm like, what can I do to make it better?
So you have Herbert, too?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
That's what made me go, who has Swift?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Nick likes to trade. He's aggressive. So I threw a 25 second out there, and he took it. And listen, I've made a couple trades, and for 25, I've got a first and a fourth. For 26, I've got a second, a third, and 3/4. And in 27, I got all my picks plus an additional fourth. Again, if I got to recoup a pick or two, I can.
Yeah.
I can. I got a lot of youth. Penix and McCaffrey are down at the taxi squad. I'm fine. I'm just not too concerned. I wanted to try to make myself a little more sturdy to compete this year. So I went out and, of course, what I do, I was a little weak at running back. Zeke was my RB2, so I went and I paid for a running back. I've talked about that before. So you're okay with this?
Yeah.
I win?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one here. Now, this trade, we're getting towards the end here. This trade happened this morning, and I was mind blown. Corey at it again. This is Corey and Nick. Corey gets from Nick Zach Charbonnet, a 27 first and a 27 second. Nick acquires Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, and a 27 third. I don't know, Ty. What do you think on this one, man?
Can you pull up Nick's team?
Yeah, because that's what yeah.
When you first look at this, those picks.
Wild.
Yeah, you're 27 though, both of them.
Right. True. Very true.
I think I'm giving this one to Nick.
Really?
Yeah.
So Nick's team, Trevor Lawrence, Tony Pollard, Kyron Williams, Amon-Ra, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson, Coleman, and Leggett are his projected starters. Does that feel win now to you?
It's close. If Coleman hits,
He's going to have to hit though, because you get to the bench and you're looking at Corum, you're looking at Jamal Williams, Edwards-Helaire, Trey Sermon, Trey Tucker, A.T. Perry, Peoples-Jones, Jalen Naylor, Jatavian Sanders, and Jelani Woods.
don't like the bench.
I don't like the bench either. So I guess and Nick will probably text me after I say this, but I'd like to get in his brain a little bit. And what is his aim this year? Like it's this strange mix of future and win now. And it feels like it's something that gets you stuck in the middle.
The Kyron Williams jumped out on the roster though.
It does.
Like that. If you look at that team without Kyron Williams and then you put Kyron Williams in there, it's a big move.
Yeah. Him and Amon-Ra together.
You gain something that Charbonnet, in my opinion, without an injury to Kenneth Walker, is not going to give you. And you got his handcuff.
Here's what's interesting about him, though.
Okay.
His draft picks don't seem to have
He gets him
budged at all other than 27. In 25, he has a first, 3 seconds, a third, and a fourth. In 26, he has a first, a second, 2 thirds, And at 27, he's got a second, 2/3, and a fourth. So like so I guess my point to that is when we say almost, he has the capital to go and be like, you know what, I'm giving this dude a first for this receiver.
Yeah, he can still do that.
He sure can. So he's juggled around and looked ahead. He's really paid attention to what he's done. I will give him that. He has really paid attention to what he's done. And he's put himself in a spot and made a handful of trades where he has not lost draft capital.
What's his 27 picks? I see he gave his first and second for this.
Yeah, I think he must have had another second because he's got a second, 2/3, and a fourth for 27.
Good on you, Nick.
Yeah, so his team is just about pushing win now, where he could lose a couple picks and still have a ton of picks. And so I like what Nick has done. I think Nick really knows what he's doing. He thinks ahead. He doesn't just make blind trades. So, I mean, I was a little surprised that 25 second landed me Swift. I thought he'd come back with like, I want another second, and at that point I probably would have been like, I'll just move on and try to find a running back with a second somewhere else. Yeah, he's not really hurting himself, man. He's got a lot of capital to keep fixing and not really lose out with the capital. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on to our next trade here. And we have got Brian Janone as Elmer Fudd. Trades with me. This is a very cheap thing. So we don't have to spend any time on this, man. Because I traded for Swift, I couldn't decide who I wanted to cut. I was kind of struggling between Cedric Tillman and Conklin. I think I was going to cut Tillman, and I was like, well, real quick, let me just see if I can get a 27 fourth. So I gave up Tillman to Brian, Cedric Tillman to Brian for a 2027 fourth. Nothing crazy, nothing really to see here. He got a maybe possible potential young depth piece, and I got a fourth.
I'll take Brian's side of this, though.
That's fine.
But it's a roster move that you had to make. And
it was cut him or get a fourth.
Yeah.
You know, so it was tough because I should note this league is tight end premium. I didn't just want to cut Conklin.
Right.
Because he is with Rodgers, and I got to think he's the best tight end there. He'll be their guy. So I went with Tillman and gained a pick.
No, I get it.
Okay. Let's move on here to John and Tong Po, Jordan. Jordan acquires Kirk Cousins, and he gives right back to John Gus Edwards in a 26th third. Jordan has Herbert, and he's in a boot, and he's a little concerned. He texted me about it today. And he wanted to shore up his quarterback room. He's like, I'm sure, like I said to him, I said, I think he's probably fine. But he is in a boot, and you don't want to see that already. So,
regardless of that, give me Jordan's side of this all day.
Yes, I totally agree. I don't really care much for Gus Edwards as far as fantasy goes. Like, I get what he does. Like, he is great to have in real life. Like, you need a couple of yards, put Gus Edwards in there.
Yeah, I don't think these guys are holding off Kamani Vidal, even your boy Dobbins.
Yep. I like Vidal. Well, I think Dobbins can if he stays healthy. I know it's a huge ask and a huge if.
Right. So I don't see them holding off Kamani Vidal.
J.K. Dobbins is the most talented running back in that room. As long as he's healthy, he's
Yeah, okay. I'll concede that because there was some explosive stuff when he was...
Yeah, like over 6 yards a carry.
Yeah, that time 3 years ago.
Yeah, well...
It wasn't 3 years ago. No. 2, right? 2022?
It was 2020, I believe. Here, I can pull that up real quick because you didn't see what I sent to our group chat today.
No.
I sent a screenshot of what J.K. Dobbins has done in his averages.
I thought I did a laugh react.
Oh, yeah, you probably did. I drive for a living, so it's hard for me to keep up with some of our chats throughout the day. But J.K. Dobbins, in 2020, 134 attempts, 805 yards, 9 touchdowns with a 6 yards per carry average.
Okay, but so going...
2022, so he missed 21. He completely missed 21.
Right.
In 2022, 92 attempts, 520 yards, 5.7 per attempt, 2 touchdowns. He got hurt. 2023, he got hurt. He had 8 attempts. He hurt in week 1.
Yeah.
But dude, that 6 and 5.7 average.
Oh yeah,
just makes me go, dang, dude. Like,
it's not a player that I want to take the risk on, other than redraft. But I will say, I hope he hits this year. I hope he at least has a healthy season and can come out there.
Yeah, and like this is it. this is it for me.
But going back to this
But
trade,
yes, let's go back to this here. I'm going to fight you.
I think
on
we
that
both
every
agree
time.
that Dobbins and Vidal are more talented than Gus Edwards.
Yes.
So I don't have a lot of stake in Gus Edwards here. I don't really understand getting rid of Cousins right now.
Well,
Depend-
let's go to John's team real quick. And
Like we said, Jordan shoring up his QB. I get that, but I think he makes a stellar trade here to get Cousins, who I think he's going to be a big-time fantasy scorer this year.
so John made the trade for Goff that we talked about.
Yep.
He has Tua and Goff, and on his bench, he has Will Levis. Could have had Cousins and Levis. He wanted to shore up his running back room. That was his words. But Gus is his RB2. It's looking here. I can see where it might be tough for him to gain that RB2, but that's not really. No, he's got enough picks. He probably could. And he's got Jonathan Brooks on his taxi.
Really?
Yep. I tend to forget that. So I would have preferred to find that RB2 a different way.
If I'm John, I'm trading Tua.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm trying to get. I think you're gonna get more value from Tua than Cousins. I'm not big on Tua, so I want to get more value from Tua. Go into this season with Goff and Cousins as my starting QBs.
With Levis on the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. And then the capital that you could have gained from Tua could have got you like a serious RB2.
Better than Gus Edwards,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yep, I agree. Okay, yeah, I'll take Jordan's side on that, but I don't think we've really pulled up Jordan's team, and I think it's worth a look.
Jordan's team is sneaky
I think
good.
he's done a great job at the draft and since the draft. Projected starters: Joe Burrow, Breece Hall, Isaiah Pacheco, Brandon Ayuk, Rashee Rice, Isaiah Likely, David Montgomery, Jaden Reed, and Justin Herbert, with Cousins on the bench and Browning to back up Burrow, who gets nicked up quite a bit. He's got Dobbins there. He's got Steele from Kansas City. He's a running back. Andre Yosivas, I think it is. Yosivas, Cincinnati. Jalen McMillan, Ricky Pearsall, Hollywood Brown, Gerald Everett, Noah Fant, Dawson Knox. Isaiah Davis and Reese Zamit.
Other than
down on his
tight end,
taxi.
I love Isaiah Likely. I don't like him as my starting tight end right now.
He has all of his picks except a 25 third and a 26 third, but he's got all of his picks.
Yeah.
So
I think that team is still a step away, but
he's
solid
right
ass
there.
team. Yep.
Right there. Yeah, I like what Jordan did. I think that was a smart move. It's like, all right, I'll just send you Gus right back then, man.
I
And
love
a
that.
third, fine, no
Yep,
problem.
I love
Nope.
that trade.
Great move for Jordan. He's pretty savvy dude. I like what I've seen so far. And this is going to be our final trade. So we have Carey, Bush League, trading with BJ and Big Sexy. I don't know if I love this. Carey acquires a 25 second from BJ, and BJ acquires Darnell Mooney from Carey. I think it's a little bit of an overpay. I would have liked to seen that be a third. But BJ has his arguments. He thinks Mooney's going to have a great season in Atlanta.
I do too.
They lost Rondale Moore.
Yep.
I'm not going to fight him on it too hard. I'm hard pressed to give a second for Mooney. I just have a hard time getting too excited about Mooney. He had a chance to be the one in Chicago, albeit Justin Fields, and that things were a mess. I will give him that. I think he actually got hurt at one point too. Correct.
Bench receiver for him.
It's a bench receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine. And is that like the only pick he's given up other than one other one?
Yeah.
So he's got all of his picks essentially minus a couple. What's he missing for picks?
He's missing a second and third from 25.
So he's got a first and a
He
fourth,
has
and then
everything
has all
else.
the rest of his picks,
Yep.
26 and 27. That's fine. I'm not gonna.
So he gave a
split
third for
hairs here.
Gabe Davis and he gave a second for Darnell Mooney.
So whatever. He tried
And
to
both of
shore up
those are
some-
depth players.
Yep.
He's got a strong wide receiver room. Starting roster: Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, Zach Moss, AJ Brown, Stephon Diggs, Travis Kelce, Dalton Schultz, Taysom Hill, Geno Smith, and then on the bench: Shavers, Tyler Lockett, Zay Jones, Gabe Davis, Darnell Mooney, Rashad Bateman, Wandale Robinson, Quentin Johnson, Tucker Kraft, and then a couple defenses.
Couple defenses. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm not going to spend time beating anyone up over this one.
I'll take Big Sexy's side of this trade. Take the Faja's side of this trade. I'll take the Darnell.
Taking the
Mooney one.
Faja
The
side.
Faja side.
BJ, he is your father.
Yep.
Yep. Son of a menace. That's fine. I'll take his side because he needed depth. Badly.
Yeah, and
we touched on that when we talked about the draft.
Yeah, and I don't like Gabe Davis, but I do love the depth of Darnell Mooney, and I think there's a lot of upside there this year for Darnell Mooney.
Quite honestly, there is upside for Gabe Davis.
I think that's a crowded room.
Got Brian Thomas, Christian Kirk,
Yeah.
Davis,
Ingram,
ETN.
I just don't see.
Yeah,
I don't even know if
it's going to be very boomer bust.
Yeah, I don't
for
think
him.
Gabe Davis even has a Buffalo season there. I definitely don't think it's a step up from where it was in Buffalo.
Fair enough. He needed the depth.
But
He went out.
I like this trade a lot. I'd give a second for Darnell Mooney, honestly.
Would you?
Yep.
I don't think I would, but we can't agree on everything, Tyler. So BJ needed depth. He got his depth and had a second to go ahead and give up. And I don't think it's really going to hurt him. So that's fine. I'll take BJ's side because he did what he had to do.
Yep.
Fair enough. All right. Do you have any final thoughts here? That was our last trade.
Thank everybody for being in this league and making these trades and stuff for us to talk about. Makes it interesting.
We asked for active people.
Yeah, we did. And there's a lot of these guys. I can almost say for everybody in this league, even the guys that don't personally know, but just going through like a lot of football guys in here that know what they're doing, know their stuff, and it's been really fun. I haven't been very involved in the trades, but man, it's been fun. I just thank everybody.
Yep. Same. My final thoughts are, I will, piggyback right there on what Ty said. And I hope somewhere throughout all that it hit for somebody. Like I was thinking about moving so.
Give you a reference point.
Yeah, and I know that. Listen, every league's going to be different, and maybe you heard some of these and you just thought like, oh my god, well, that's crazy. And I get it. I look at trades all the time, and I'm like, man, that's crazy. I understand, but
and every league is different. Like
it is.
You might not get this in your league, depending on. And this is 14-man too.
Yep, and there's a million ways to skin a cat from the way that BJ does things to the way Corey does things to the way that me and Ty does things. Like there's all kinds of ways to do this.
Oh yeah.
So, I think that's it. Right?
Yep.
Good. All right. Awesome. Hey, that's it for today's show. Again, as always, thank you all so much for tuning in and giving us your support. Remember, if you'd like your trades graded, please check out the description for details. Join us next time where Tyler and I will release and compare our rankings, maybe yell at each other a little bit. These rankings are overdue. I can't wait to do that. Please remember to like, follow, and subscribe to our Spotify, Twitter, and YouTube. Please tell your friends. See you next time, everybody.